The New York City subway is huge and has seen tons of route changes over its 120-year history. So it makes sense that sometimes, at some stations, a sign from the past still lingers. Subscribe. In part 3 of Subway Archaeology, we are going to explore some of your comments, starting here at Beach 105 in the Rockaways. We just got an Omni Smack, our friend Mateo Leon Diaz. Thank you for becoming a Patreon sponsor. And on this side we got, there she is. The blue S is just like the gray Rockaway shuttle, just a different color. The blue S still exists, but it shouldn't be here on a sign at Beach 105 Street. Last video, I showed you the blue H bullet for the Rockaway shuttle that ran until 1993. When the H was fired in 1993, the blue S was hired to replace it between Broad Channel and Rockaway Park. But for whatever reason, in 2004, the MTA decided to fire the blue S and replace that with another gray S. Same route. But, like I said, the blue S still rides today. It just happens late at night when nobody's watching, except me. Observe! Late night shuttle service between Ozone Park, Lefferts Boulevard, and Euclid Avenue is labeled on the MTA's official late night map as a gray A. But if you ride it, it's actually a blue S. I can only assume that it's been this way since 2004 when the Rockaway blue S was fired. So this sign is at least 21 years old. And of course, for reference, this is what it should look like on both sides. Thanks to Kiev Balls in the comments for this one. Does this? I just missed the elevator. Elevator smell like pee. A whole bunch of people just rushed up as the elevator came. 3.5 elevator. Omni Smack, Graham Porel, and get a midnight snack. Thank you for your Patreon subscriptions. So cool of you. Here at Sterling Street, the transit foamer said he saw a Diamond 5. It's been a little over a year, so we're going to check. But first, I want to point out this. Since we're doing old signage, this old tile at the end of Sterling Street is from the 1950s. This station opened in 1920, but SubwayNut.com points out that the area of the platform with these 1950s large vertical tiles gets really narrow, because that's when this platform was lengthened to 514 feet in order to accommodate 10-car trains. And this sign right here was brand new in the 1950s. Okay, now on to our target. We got to go to the mezzanine and look for the Diamond 5. And wow, that was easy. Okay, and there she is. Thanks, the transit foamer. Oh boy, this sign is a doozy. Let me get into it. Sterling Street is on the branch that runs between Flatbush Avenue, Brooklyn College, and Franklin Avenue. Currently, the 2 and 5 terminate at Flatbush, but before 1983, the 2 and 5 trains used to run to Utica Avenue. July 10th, 1983, MTA decided that the 2 and 5 should reroute to Flatbush, with the 5 as a Diamond rush hour only train for this branch. Then in 2005, the Diamond 5 bullet was fired completely. So this Diamond 5 sticker on this sign dates back to 1983, 42 years old. But that's just the sticker. This sign is older than that. You can see under this Diamond 5 sticker that there is part of another round green bullet. Well, before 1983, it was the 3 and 4 trains that used this branch. Now, using that information, we can assume that this Diamond bullet is covering a green 4 bullet. And if you remember the first Subway Archaeology video, you'll remember the 4 was a pink bullet. The black 5 and the pink 4 were wild, right? It wasn't assigned the forest green color we know today until 1979. So the sign itself is at least 46 years old. Possibly older, but I don't see any signs of a pink 4 or light blue 3. This is what it should look like on both sides. It's funny, you can see where someone has tried to peel off the properly labeled Circle 5 from this sign. Foamers. Alright, good job the transit foamer. On to Atlantic Avenue again. Pablo Chorizo says there is a brown M here, still at Atlantic Avenue, that we missed, under the 2345 platform next to the elevator. Unfortunately, it looks like the elevators are under repair, so we're gonna have to use the stairs. Here's one elevator that's not under construction, but no brown M around it. So unfortunately, Pablo Chorizo, because of the elevator repairs here at Atlantic Avenue, I don't think I'm going to find that brown M, and it probably won't be there after they're done. But there's one more place we can check. TMW K1Y said there's one that I missed on track 1 of the Long Island Railroad, so we'll check that one. So many crazy people. That's not it. Maybe it's a little further down. These are just the non-official, I think these are non-official signs. Yeah, it's one of the ones from the front. There it is. One that doesn't have the M blocked off. It's another backlit sign like the one at the front of track 1. Great job, TMW K1Y. We've actually already covered this sign, so I'm on to Canal Street. But actually that's gonna happen tomorrow. So, here at 155th Street, a station I have not been to, but like twice before. Shout out to Sullivan and Brian Barrera for these comments. I looked all up and down both NQ platforms at Canal Street and couldn't find a brown M. MTA must have got them. But I do have this Omni Smack for Voulez-Vous. Thank you for subscribing to the Patreon. That's the sign we're looking for. This sign is currently incorrect. The B has not gone to Coney Island since like 2001. The B first started running through 155th Street all the way to Coney Island on June 1st, 1976. But this sign isn't that old. If it was that old, this B would be a diamond. That's because reconstruction of the Manhattan Bridge started in 1986, split the B into 2 parts with 2 bullets, an orange B for here and a yellow B for Brooklyn and Astoria. We'll get into that in a minute. But the relevant installation date for this sign is around December 11th, 1988. That's when the Manhattan Bridge's north side tracks reopened and allowed the orange B, no longer a diamond, to travel south from here via 6th Avenue, across the Manhattan Bridge, and continue to Coney Island via the West End. But the B stopped going to Brooklyn entirely on July 22nd, 2001, when the Manhattan Bridge North tracks closed again. So, the B and the D service shown on this sign only happened between 1988 and 2001. That makes this sign 37 years old. And over here, you'll see a sign with a sticker on it that somebody has tried to peel it off. It displays the service we know today. Also, remember the yellow B I mentioned? Weird, right? Check out what I saw at 145th on the way here. It's a yellow B. We can go over the yellow B. Yeah, Manhattan Bridge reconstruction made things super confusing for the B. The yellow B ran between Ditmars Boulevard, Astoria, through Manhattan on the Broadway line, hence why it's yellow, and then to Coney Island via the West End, between 1986 and 1988. Only 2 years. But December 11th, 1988, the yellow B was fired! The orange B started across the Manhattan Bridge again, since this train car is an R68. Car number 2880 has a yellow B in the middle. And the first R68s entered revenue service June 1986. This roll sign is an original installation, 39 years old. Yellow B, crazy. And now it's time to head to the Bronx. Solo 6058 says at the agent booth there's a little sign surprise waiting for us, so let's check it out. I hope he's right. And I didn't want to look sketchy, so I didn't really get a shot of the agent booth. But I did get this Omni Smack coming back in. Manuel Ramos! So I just came from the active agent booth, and an excellent MTA employee there, fantastic, thank you so much, advised me that there used to be an active agent booth at 170th Street, so we're going to check there for it, because it was not at that booth anywhere. I looked all around and the agent had no idea what I was talking about. So you can see where the agent booth used to be here. So this one was a bust, but I have a backup for the C. Look, there it is. There's the backup for the C at 170th Street. That's it. That's hilarious. I hope that's not what he's talking about. I don't think it is. That's silly. Gustavo Garcia on Patreon says there is something I should see at the 188th Street mezzanine in a closed passageway here at Fordham Road. Huge shout out to Gustavo Garcia and Cubby8 on Patreon for helping me sort through some facts to get them as accurate as possible for this video. This station is huge up here. So here's a closed passageway, but there are a bunch of them. That's a mess. Okay, so after 30 minutes of walking around, I think I figured it out. All the way at the end of this hallway is a closed off exit to the street. And that is where the Diamond C sign is. I checked the signs at the top of all of these two stairways. All they say is downtown. So for one more quick look, let's go above ground and see if we can find where the exit used to be on street level. Okay, yeah, found nothing. And my rule is if you can't see it legally, then I am not going to cover it. So I can't find it legally. We tried twice. No Diamond C. Came all the way to the Bronx for nothing. Maybe I'll find something to fill the space. How about this? The 3 train is a gold mine for finding fired bullets. Each car has a roll sign at the front and the back. That's 10 cars total. 20 potential roll signs for these R62s. The R62 entered revenue service testing on the 4 line November 29, 1983. So that makes this roll sign only as old as the train car itself, about 42 years old. But let's examine the Diamond 4 bullet. Since 1979, when the 4 became green, the only place I can find a Diamond 4 is on this little stretch of map that indicates an express run between 125th Street and 149th Street Grand Concourse. Maybe sometimes they used this bullet for periodic express service. I can only guess that it was installed for possible future use. And good news, in 2009 the future came. The MTA tested 2 pilot programs for express Diamond 4 service in the Bronx.
The next stop is 149th Grand Concourse.
But by that time, the R142 trains had mostly replaced the R62 on the 4 line. So the bullet on this R62 train was fired by fleet swap. Maybe it wasn't completely phased out of the 4 line by 2009. I hope it saw some use at some point at least. Poor little bullet. Some of the comments played out, some of them didn't. But I gave it the old college try. Comment below if you see any more. Maybe I'll do a 4th one. Does this elevator smell like pee? Wow, this elevator is well lit, spacious, clean, smells good. I mean, the floor is dirtyish, but I mean, it's a used elevator. I don't know, man. This is a good 4.75, almost 5. And that'll do it. Remember, leave your car at home. Don't try to take the Diamond C up here because it hasn't run this way for years, and I'm not going to tell you how long because you can't see it legally. Thanks for watching.